how to flirt while playing it safe in the interaction. I'm making this video because there are certain situations, there's certain environments where it's not the same context as a daytime cold approach where the girl's just walking down the street and I'm never gonna see her again. In fact, most guys, if you live somewhat of a social lifestyle at all, there will be some of these moments where you're either at a house party, you're at a social circle event, you're at a wedding, you're in this small tiny gym that you go to all the time. There's just these different environments where you need to play it a little bit safer, but that doesn't mean that you don't go for it at all, in which case you need to understand the concepts I'm talking about in this video. All right, the reason I'm making this video is because I was just on a client call. I was breaking down one of my client's interactions, and he has been really expanding his social life. Like before he came to the program, this guy was barely approaching at all. He never had done a real cold approach, and he was not really getting dates or getting laid at all, right? And he's actually a pretty successful guy. I think he's 39, coming up on 40. He looks very youthful. Me and him joke a lot because like he's on TRT and stuff, and so we just talk about fitness and we get along really well. But the thing that I noticed was like that's where he was before the program. I've been working with him for a couple months now. Not only is he going on dates consistently and like his confidence is much higher and he's approaching, but the other thing is he's starting to just expand his social circle and his social life. So he's actually hosting events. He's got a group of women that are coming out with him, and he's getting invited to parties left and right. So he goes out, does quite a bit of nighttime stuff, and he's got a lot of social circle stuff going on. And now that we have this one skill set of cold approach really dialed, the other thing that he wanted help with is like his ability to flirt in these environments where he needs to be a little bit more safe, because in his city, even though it's a major city, a lot of the people know a lot of people in the same crowd and environment that he goes to. And maybe some of you guys can relate to some of these aspects, right? Now, it doesn't need to be the exact same situation, but look, if you're a guy who's not approaching, or you have a social circle setting, or you know you need to get better with your flirting to some extent, I would encourage you to click the link down below and apply to work with me directly so I could help you get the same results I've been helping this guy. We're absolutely crushing it at this point. Compared to where he was before, it's just night and day difference. I'd love to help you do that as well. Click the link down below, fill out an application to work with me directly. Let me talk about what I broke down with my client though, because he has all these opportunities and he's not bad at doing cold approach. The problem though is where he's in an environment where people know him and know the girl that he's talking to, and if he flirts with her the wrong way, then everybody knows about it and he starts to develop a weird reputation, or his reputation could be at risk considering he knows other people in the environment. So let's just start off with this example of a house party, okay? And I also want to talk about some myths around the gym and the work environment and in all of these too, because I did give him these tactical techniques, but at the end of it, I also debunked a bigger myth, in my opinion, that's a mindset shift. So what I told him was, look, if you're interacting with people in any environment where you need to play it a little bit safer, do not start off by thinking, how do I flirt with this woman? That is not where you start. You need to start by thinking, how can I tease this woman consistently? Like, that's where you start. Okay? The reason behind that is because there's just different levels of communication. And I would say at the bottom, it's like you're talking either extremely formally or you're talking to a stranger, right? So there's certain communication that you would, if you're talking to a complete stranger or you're talking extremely formally or professionally, there's a certain type of communication there, right? A level higher than that is going to be engaging conversation. Just imagine you're telling a fun or funny story to your friends. That is different than professional level communication. Now we're at fun and engaging, right? The level above that is starting to tease. You're having back and forth teasing and breaking rapport. If the level above formal was telling a fun story to friends, imagine the level above that, which is like roasting or making fun of your friends, right? This is like one level higher. So you can see there's just like there's engaging conversation, but then there's actually fun and laughter and teasing at a higher level than that. The level above that is gonna be man-to-woman communication. This is where there's actual flirting going on. Now, teasing is starting to move into a flirting category, but man-to-woman, like there's a certain level of intent in the interaction where now it's more on a mating level. Teasing can be still on a friendly level, but I think it's a great way to bridge the gap between engaging conversation and ultimately man to woman conversation, right? We want to play it safe. That's the whole point of this video. The way that you play it safe is not what most men do. See, most men, they either keep it super formal and professional, depending on the environment they're in, or they get to fun, or they get to engaging conversation, and they just stay at one or two of these levels. They're at one of these levels. They're at fun and they're engaging, or they're at just formal professional, and they stay there, and then it either just completely stays there and they never flip a switch, or they try to flip a switch to go to man to woman, and it's this big jump. It's risky. You don't know if the girl's going to reciprocate or not, and in these type of environments where it's risky, most guys won't do it. They don't want to compromise their job. They don't want to be known as that guy in the social circle or at church or at the gym, and so they don't ever do it. They just stay at these levels. And that's probably why you're watching this video, because you've been at one of these levels with women, and you don't, either you did it and it backfired on you and you're like, never again, which is a thought that happened in my head at the first gym I went to 10 years ago, or most of my life, I just never flipped the switch at all and it just kind of stayed there and fizzled out, unless the girl just showed me overwhelming amounts of green lights. And then which very rarely would happen. And it's never going to happen with the girls that you really, really want. It's going to happen with the girls that are like below you, and that's why they're taking the lead, right? So that's not what we actually want in our lives. If you want your dream dating life, that's not what you want, bro. You know there's more attractive, higher quality women out there, right? So if you're staying at that level and then try to flip this big switch, it's too risky. It's going to be a punishing action. You're going to get a punishment for taking that big of a risk, or you're not going to do anything at all. Thus, we take a safer play. So if you're at 1 or 2, I encourage you, before anything, your only goal is to bring it to a teasing level, because this is a nice in-between from engaging to man to woman. Teasing is the gap, it is the bridge to that gap that makes it less risky, because if I go here, if the girl's into me, if the girl's gonna have fun with me, and she's gonna reciprocate in teasing and having fun and banter, that's a great sign that I could probably go further. And I'm going to show you a very safe way to do that in this video too. So I would recommend, before anything, you're just starting to tease, okay? Which is, by the way, my client was already at this point. He was at a point where he's teasing, but he still couldn't figure out. He's like, yeah, I'm teasing, and I can do intent on strangers, but like when I'm in this environment, like I never go past this point because I feel like it's still weird, right? So what we did is, I told him, once you get good at teasing, and by the way, guys, I don't even know, I probably have a whole playlist of videos on how to tease women on my main channel, Coach Kyle. This is Coach Kyle Raw, but if you go to Coach Kyle, there's a bunch of videos giving out live demonstration of me teasing. So you take some of those practical techniques and you start getting comfortable with that. Start teasing women to the point where you're actually laughing, and they're laughing with you, and you're kind of dissing them, you're playfully challenging them, you're playfully disagreeing them, you're playfully disqualifying them. Those are just a couple of the techniques you could do to start teasing. You're getting to a place where you're doing those things and the girl's reciprocating with you. Awesome. Now we have a clear green light that we could just take the first tiniest step to sprinkling in a little bit of intent. Okay? You don't just full blown ask her out at that point. I don't recommend doing that, especially if you're trying to play it safe. There will be guys out there that tell you just fucking go for it, but dude, if you're at the work environment, you're at the church environment, you're in a small gym, you're at a social circle party that your friends and the people you know are around you, you don't want to take that chance, right? And you're not gonna. You're gonna play it smart because you're watching this video, right? So what I would recommend doing is, you're already teasing the girl. All you need to do now is you take whatever tease that you already teased her on, and you turn that into a push-pull with intent. Okay, so some very basic teases, right? Let's just say we were giving the girl shit on the fact that she's a Giants fan and I'm a Jets fan, even though I don't even like football. I used to like the Giants back in the day. But like, let's just say we're at a house party, we're talking about the game, the Giants and the Jets. You're a Jets fan? Oh my God, I could never, right? That's the tease. Now, if you're teasing women, just start thinking about, what are the things I already teased her on? I teased her that, I don't know, she can't keep up with me on the hike trail. I teased her that she likes this certain thing. She does this sport. She likes this team. She likes this food. You tease her about anything, right? You're teasing her. you turn that into a push-pull. And that is simply, you state the tease, and then you say, but you're kind of cute, so it's okay. Or you say, you're cute, but blank tease, so now I don't know, right? That's all it is, okay? So she's too cocky, right? You say, honestly, you're cute, but you're low-key like too cocky, so like, I don't even know, right? That's it. That's not giving your power away. You can't get rejected. By the way, that's why this is so safe, is like you can't actually get rejected if you say this sentence. Like if you came back and the girl said, oh, no, I'm not interested. Like that would be so weird because I didn't even say I was interested. I said, yeah, but like you like the Jets, so like I don't even know. If the girl came back and was like, even worst case scenario, like this is why this is so safe, is because even if worst case scenario, men's biggest fear is you say this line, the intentful line, and the girl comes back negative, you already said a negative. So you just simply agree with her because of blank negative, right? That's why it's so rejection proof, right? So this is why you could do this you can do this very safely in pretty much any environment, is whatever the tease is, you say the tease, and you can say, but you're cute, but you're kind of cute, so it's okay. Or you say you're cute, but blank tease, so now I don't even know anymore, right? That's all it is, right? That's all you need to do. Now, from there, pay attention to how the girls respond, because if the girl does respond negatively, okay, cool. It's probably a good indication that now is not the right time to ask her out or go for it or move anything forward, in which case you just go back to just teasing and engage in conversation, right? And you keep it there for the next time you see her or the next time you see her until you feel like she's responding a little bit more positively, and then you could take one more step back into this direction. And if at any point now you feel like she's being negative, you just drop it back down and there was no damage done. You didn't take some crazy risk. You're just moving to the next step and you're assessing, is she responding positively? If so, stay there for a little bit, then go to the next step. If you did that step and she is responding positively now, okay, there's really nothing to be afraid of at this point, because I already said the intentful line and I'm teasing her and she's responding positively. So I have nothing to be worried about, really, right? You could even do this when you invite her out. Like if you did all those things and you want to be super, super safe, you could still then say, honestly, I'm tempted to invite you out sometime, but I don't know because of blank tease, right? Or I'm tempted to invite you out, but blank tease, so I don't even know, right? Like you could even use that when you go to invite the woman out. Okay, so if you're really unsure, you could hypothetically invite her out in the negative. And if she seems like she's okay with it, then you could say, okay, actually, yeah, let's do it. Right? So it doesn't need to be this safe talk, and then you're just like, hey, Jess, like, I just want to tell you, like, I've had a crush on you. I'd love to take you on a date. I think you're so beautiful. You don't need to just like dump this load on her. It's funny phrasing, but you don't need to dump this whole thing on her at once, and then she either accepts it or she doesn't. You can break it down into small steps, and if she's still okay and accepting the frame and reciprocating, that's a good indication that you're at this level, and then you could do more of that level, and then you could take it one step further, right? So you could do the push-pull intent. You stay there. If she's responding positively, later on, you could actually just display intent. You don't need to put it into a push-pull. You could just actually display intent later because it's already been accepted on a more micro level, right? And then if you're still unsure and if you want to play it super, super safe, you could even invite her out in the negative, right? And if she's responding positively to that, then it's clear indication that you're totally okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is most of you guys, you don't actually need to do this. At the gym, in the social circle, in these places, you don't actually need to do this. You just think you need to do it, right? The reality is that you could actually just go up and display intent if you did it in a confident way, and if the girl wasn't into you, it's not a big deal. Like, you think it's going to be this end of the world thing, and there's going to be wanted posters up with your name and face. This man was last seen displaying intent, wanted, improper use of intent, $50,000 reward. Like, dude, there's not going to be a wanted poster up if you did this one time with one person in that environment. Now, look, if you're spamming it at the small gym, like that could possibly build up a bad reputation. But dude, if there's like that one girl in the environment, you could just go do it, If it's in a social circle, you could do this a couple times. Like, it's okay. I'm just giving you these tools because like I was too much of a pussy initially. Like I needed the tools because I was so afraid of the rejection. So the tools were a vehicle to get me through it to ultimately have enough confidence to then just go for it. That was just for me, right? So I understand the need to want these and use them and get comfortable with them. But what I will also say is that at a higher level, you could just go for it. You'll grow more from that. And you'll also realize it's not a big deal. Like I even went around doing, intentionally, I went around doing direct approaches at a gym to see if there was a difference. There's no difference. It's not any weirder. It's not a bigger rejection rate. And it's not weird if you see the girl again. Like I saw the girl again that I went up and did the direct approach on. I did it on like 5 different girls in that gym. And I saw the one girl again that said no thank you or whatever. And I just walked by and was like, hey, what's up? Good morning. Have a good day. That's it. Right? So you think it's going to be really, really weird. It's not. But you can use these tools if you want to be safe. Like in the work environment or maybe at church, some of these places need to be extra, extra safe. Cool. You can use a little bit of these tools. Or if you're really struggling with it, the tools can help you get through it. All right. Now, if you can't do any of this stuff, or you just hyper focus on one girl that's at your gym, and you're not really approaching 20 or 30 plus women in a week to the place where you're actually building the skill set, and you want to get better with this, if you want the social confidence and the dating life that you really deserve, right? Like, stop getting one-itis from a girl that's mid at work that's not even into you. How about you actually become that guy and you can go out and just talk to women in any environment, create attraction and land dates. If you want to become that guy, you can work with me directly to do that. The link is down below. Fill out an application, book out a day and a time to have a free consultation call with us. We'll sit down with you, discuss where you're at, what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to get success, and then what that would actually look like if you were to work with us. If it seems to be a good fit and you want to transform, cool, we move forward. If nothing else, you'll walk away with some insight on like, okay, I'm not doing this, I need to do this more, right? If you want that, if you want to actually consider working with us, link is down below. That's all for this video, fellas. Peace out.